Hello everybody, welcome back to my television review series, How to Sell Drugs Online, parentheses, fast review. So today we'll be breaking down a television show. Still have not watched a movie in a couple months, I'll definitely be doing that again, probably, hopefully, before the next television review series. But you know what we'll be doing on these ones, I will give you my overall grade and some impressions, just general overviews of the piece. Then after that, if you have not seen the show and would like to, you're going to want to shut off the video because we'll be doing a plot synopsis and talk about character development. Again, I did not write down anything for this one, so just as best as I can remember it, and the major plot developments. And we'll be discussing major themes, stuff that's near and dear to my heart, selling drugs online. One of the classic endeavors in the American enterprise, in the global enterprise, online drug dealing. But it was made by, it's a Netflix original, I believe. Well, certainly it's hosted on Netflix. But let me read you the summary or the overview from the production. It just says, to impress his former girlfriend, a nerdy teen starts selling drugs online out of his bedroom and soon becomes one of Europe's biggest dealers. Genre: comedy, drama, crime, dark comedy, coming of age, techno thriller, teen drama. So it was originally filmed in German. I watched my German's not good enough to just to watch it flat out in German with the subtext like in Spanish or in French, but so I watched it with the British American overdubs. So phonetically it was actually pretty interesting, like a lot of because like people say German's pretty similar to English, so it's like, I don't know, just like the prepositions. The phonetic is not difficult in German in any way. Again, phonetics aren't really difficult at all, but like the prepositions, just like the structures of like the indefinite articles and the prepositions just don't strike me as super close to English. But like when they're speaking and it overdubs like the English, it lines up perfectly with the articulation of the mouth. So that was pretty interesting with the German language. But I watched it in the British overdub in English. So my overall graded impressions, I really enjoyed it, thoroughly enjoyed it, on the bridge of between B- or B+ and A-. I thought I enjoyed it. I'll give it an A-. I'll say it's well done. On the lower end of well done. A-. It's upbeat, it's fun. And like for crime shows, I like it to be serious, but this one's more playful. And again, for this type of crime, I definitely think it worked. So I thought it was definitely fun. Highly recommend it. I thought it was well done. Thoroughly enjoyed it. The jokes were funny, again, even with any sort of situational translation. And a couple of times, like when they say, like if they're like reviewing for a test, they say they're going to revise for an exam. That's why you probably review for an exam. So it's like some of the words just jump out strangely, but again, overall, well done. Really liked it. Translation doesn't throw me at all. I mean, typically I like to watch shows that I know the language well enough where I can reference both just the natural spoken language and the subtitles. But my German's not that good. So I thoroughly enjoyed it, and if you have not watched the show and would like to, again, highly recommend this one. Fun, playful, funny, good content, good crime scenarios. So A-, highly recommend. So now we'll be talking about the plot synopsis and character development. So the show starts off, you have Mort Zimmerman and Lisa Novak. Mort is the mastermind, the nerdy kid from the overview. Lisa's pretty cute. The actual actress, I looked her up, she's 27, so I think her name was Lena Clanky. She was pretty cute, so she could sit on my face. Excuse me. But they start off their dating, and Lisa goes to America. Oh, and I guess I probably should have said at the beginning, but this is the first 3 seasons. It's just 6 episodes a season on Netflix, and the episodes are like 30 minutes. So it's another really quick show to watch as well. But they're dating. Lisa goes to America for a year. She starts to liking to party with like ecstasy and MDMA. So she comes back to Germany, and they're in some town in Germany. I don't know the geography of Germany well at all, but middle of Europe. And then there's also Dutch references. That's which they go to Rotterdam pretty regularly. So I don't know the distance between wherever they're at in Germany. But I don't know. It seems like a 45-minute to an hour trip, maybe. I don't know. We'll get to that. So Zay comes back. She's liking to party. Daniel Riffert is the hot guy, the hot jock guy at the school. And he is a small-time ecstasy dealer. So Lisa comes back. kind of wants to take a break from Moritz because they start growing apart when she's just trying to start to party. She starts to, talking with Dan, and Dan is the supplier for the MDMA and the ecstasy. So Moritz wants to get his girlfriend back, so he basically, you meet Buba, who's this Albanian. There's a couple exchanges in there again with the translation. I'm not sure if they're actually Albanian or if they're making a joke about not being Albanians or something, but I think they're actually Albanian. And this translation on that one's a little confusing. But, so, Moritz, his best friend is Lenny Sander. Lenny is disabled. He has a terminal cancer. He's in a wheelchair. He's throughout the show he's always on the edge of dying, or told he's going to die young, but he's made 10 years past his expected prognosis. So he's trying to enroll in some more developmental studies for help his lifespan. But Moritz and Lenny scope out Daniel's small-time dealer. They meet Buba. Moritz tells, if you don't sell me ecstasy, I'm gonna send this information to the police. Buba's an actual drug dealer. Unfortunately, will definitely harm Moritz. And it is a bit loosely based on somebody, like an actual person in Germany, but it didn't seem like the actual historical account was even super relevant to the entertainment piece. So I'm just going off of the entertainment piece and not the actual historical fact. We'll talk a little bit about the end, but it didn't seem to be too involved or too relevant to loosely based is what I would say. But so he plays a trick on the drug dealer, gets the ecstasy, and now he goes to a party with Lisa, and then he gets kicked in the face by Daniel. Daniel, again, the hot dude, he's the son of a footballer. And it's actually funny. Daniel's struggling with the grades throughout the season, needs Moritz's help to study sometimes, and his father, I think narrated or something, but once they start selling drugs, making some money, Daniel pulls up in a car, and his dad is meeting with a bankruptcy lawyer, and his dad gets a phone call from the biology teacher, and it was the biology teacher, not a narrator. I don't think this one's narrated much at all, sometimes by Moritz, but the biology teacher says if Daniel doesn't pass his A levels, that he's gonna get relegated, and that makes me I thought it was a fucking hilarious football joke in there, so that had me laughing out loud. But anyway, back to where we're at, trying to be chronological. So they kick Moritz in the face, and very quickly on in the series, again, originally Moritz, Lisa's kind of leaning towards Daniel as a romantic partner. Moritz wants Lisa back. And then quickly on in the season series, Lisa decides that she actually wants to date Moritz and not Daniel. So Daniel and Lisa kiss once or twice. Lisa has two good friends, Fritzy and Gerda. And Gerda overdoses once they start again. They get the drugs from the drug dealer, and then they're going to start selling online. So Moritz programs this site. They have this thing called My Items, just for online gaming. It's not going to do much. Once Moritz gets the drugs, they turn it into the drug website. Lenny helps him program it. Lenny doesn't really give a fuck because he's going to die soon, so he's like, yeah, fuck it, let's go. So they start doing that. And Lisa and Moritz are dating, and most of the time throughout the series, Lisa does not know Moritz is selling. And so the first major development is Buba gets arrested. Basically, Moritz, I think Daniel rats out Buba for selling, or he gets picked up by the police for something, or probably selling, and then rolls on Buba. So Buba basically he lives at a farm. He gets Moritz, Lenny, and Daniel at the farm, and it's basically tied into this horse stall thing that rotates to walk horses or something, and then trying to figure out who the rat was. And Lenny's strapped up with a 3D printed gun, and so as Buba's this kind of crazy Albanian dude trying to interrogate, figure out who's who, Lenny pulls out the 3D gun. Daniel realizes that Buba is serious about killing them, and He's like, no, it's me, it's me. Lenny pulls out the gun, tries to shoot Booba, doesn't work, and Booba picks up the gun. It's like, well, what is this plastic piece of shit? It's literally a 3D printed gun. Points it at his head, shoots, and fires. So he kills himself inadvertently after Lenny tried to shoot him. And from his place, you meet his mom comes, Doro Otto, I think it's Booba's mom, and another like Albanian crew, and then they start trying to figure out what happened to Booba. So that's like the first major development. After that, you get, in the beginning, the drugs they get from Booba are pretty terrible. So Moritz's original supplier is just some dude named Purple Rain on the internet that reaches out to him, and they get drugs supplied to him by sending him Bitcoin, and a plane comes by and throws out a package with the drugs inside. And so after the site starts having success, they have a couple, successful business meetings, and Moritz is, trying to play up, and it's narrated and presented as he's trying to be like a Mark Zuckerberg or build like a tech business when it's really just selling drugs online. And so you have that another motif of like the tech savvy nerd with the edge on the computer as well with the drugs and like the upbeat, fun tonality of the piece. And so that's going on. Lenny makes fun of Moritz for thinking he's a CEO. Once the website has some success, they meet people in Rotterdam, I think it's Rotterdam, in Dutch. Which again, Dutch is that Danish, Dutch, Copenhagen, Netherlands, that little region of the world. Just the naming of the languages always throws me with the country. Like sprechen Sie Deutsch, you speak German, so Deutsch is German, but Dutch is Dutch. Which country is Dutch? Is that a country? That always throws me. That region of the world always throws me. So. But it doesn't matter. So, but they have like an actual office like with a bunch of people selling drugs, and they're bigger suppliers and they're consistent suppliers. So they take out the Dutch people. You have Marlene Burke or Burke, don't know how to pronounce it correctly. And the phonetic of Dutch sounded a good some heavy hints of French as well. So that was kind of cool. I like the language aspects of it always. But so they take out the Purple Rain, whoever the dude is in the plane. Their main enforcer is Martin, but he basically rigs the plane, and the plane goes down and kills the supplier. So now the Dutch people are supplying Moritz. And so basically they go like there, and then Moritz is like given an ultimatum between Lenny and Daniel, or going to work with the Dutch just himself. And so at the beginning, they don't think. Moritz says once Moritz starts working or gets supplied by the Dutch, that if they don't make 15 million euro, the Dutch are going to kill them. Which, once you, as a consumer, you see the Dutch kill the pilot, but Moritz, Lenny, and Daniel aren't sure if the Dutch are actually, hardcore enforcers, and they turn out to be, but they don't know that, and Moritz lies to Lenny and Daniel, saying that if they don't do this to 15 million euros, they'll be killed. When as the actual characters in the show, they don't know that. And so they have some trust issues, and he goes back and forth a couple times throughout the season about trusting and not trusting Moritz. And so he ends up going to Rotterdam. He sees Martin actually enforce and kill one of the people. So he comes back, and Moritz also develops. They get Moritz earlier on. They get interrogated by Doro Otto and the crew. They get stabbed in the leg a little bit, but Moritz generates a good relationship with the Albanians. Goes hunting. They get Moritz's dad, and he does it from his house, and his dad's a police officer, Jens. And so Jens, he buys a police dog for his daughter, who is, I think it's, where is it? It's Marie Zimmerman. And she's just she's 12-year-old young girl. She's like a TikToker wanting to be an influencer throughout the show. She had a minor, pretty relevant role as well. They buy a police dog. The police dog, Jans is a police officer, Marie wants a dog, buys a dog, turns out to be a drug dog, sniffs all these things out in the Moritz's room. Moritz covers it up by saying, he's had a bad problem smoking weed when he's got a bunch of pills everywhere. And he's mainly selling pills, just like ecstasy and MDMA. He has the relationship with the Albanians because he sells their coke, but really he just takes the coke, throws it away, and just pays them the money out of the revenue from the pills. And so I don't know why there'd be why would anyone just put up coke and he's selling pills? I don't know why the fuck you want to just sell coke too. But That's why he has a good relationship with the Albanians. They go hunting one time. Moritz accidentally shoots the dog. He lets the dog. Susie is the dog. He lets the dog go because he's like doesn't want him to keep finding the drugs. And so when they're hunting with the Albanians, shoots the dog. The dog happened to randomly be there, and it's a super fictional show. Said it's based on something, but it didn't seem to reflect the actual account much at all. And so, but the Albanians amputate the leg of the dog, and then Moritz returns the dog with 3 legs. So yeah, he shot the dog accidentally. But Lenny gets a girlfriend. Her name is, why isn't she up here? What was her name? Kira. I didn't see her name on the pop out on the character list. But he gets a girlfriend. She's like a hacker, another computer type, so they bond over gaming and whatnot. Lenny acts like he takes pictures of Dan and acts like he's Dan, but instantly Kira's already Googled Lenny on their first date, so she plays a major role as well. And so once he goes to Rotterdam and he sees that Martin's an actual forger, he has the Albanians protect Lenny and Daniel because Martin goes to kill them. The Albanians, tase him and send him back to Dutchland. So what country speaks Dutch? Danish? No, that's Dane. Danish, Dutch, that literally always throws me. I've thought about it a lot of times. So that happens. I'll make sure I'm still rolling. So then after Moritz, he's working with the Dutch. He's not really being treated like the CEO anymore. And he makes one of the worst decisions ever. Again, the actress whoever plays Lisa, Moritz basically just breaks up with Lisa because he's too focused on the my drugs and wants to be focused on the selling the drugs online. I'll much rather take the cute girlfriend. But he does that. Lisa and Moritz break up. And pretty shocking that Moritz does it to Lisa. Kira and Lenny go back and forth a little bit. Basically, Moritz is basically... Lenny tells everything to Kira. Even when Moritz breaks up with Lisa, she doesn't know. And so Moritz interrogates Kira a little bit. And that kind of, weakens the trust with Lenny because Kira thinks Lenny sent Moritz. So they go back and forth a little bit. You also have the teen drama in here as well, which is always enjoyable. Again, there's the 25 to 27-year-old crew playing teen drama. It's always funny to me. But they go on a camping trip, and they meet this. I think he's the ranger. It's like this dude's named Joseph. But Lisa starts dating this dude named Joseph, and she has some pictures. And Moritz and Lisa have known each other since childhood, so they have trackers on their phone, and they have their passwords to each other's accounts and stuff. And so Moritz. Oh, they initially break up one time in the initial episodes because Moritz is hacking into her Facebook and deleting pictures between her and Dan. That's at the beginning. And then he also logs in and sees Ranger Joseph. When they go on the camping trip, her and Lisa kind of make out and hook up a bit. And so Moritz sees Ranger Joseph tied up in handcuffs. And later on in the show, the handcuffs makes Moritz uncomfortable. So I thought the comedy was developed well. I thought it was funny. But so he's not real happy with the Dutch people. A police officer starts looking into him. And Morris's dad covers up for him a little bit. At the beginning of the show, he wipes a computer between him and Bubo that would incriminate him. Morris's dad's got his back, covers it up, literally shoots up the laptop to destroy the hard drive from this other police officer that's trying to get Moritz arrested. And so throughout the season, they're studying for their A-levels, which is high school, through high school, American equivalent in Germany. But once the police officers start getting on to Moritz decides that he's going to basically give up the Dutch and be left alone by the police officer, and he's going to do so by blackmailing the client list and some of the employees at the Dutch company. The Dutch company tell the Marlene and Burke about it. They're two females, also attractive women, probably 40-ish, but they were also very attractive. And they're the bosses of the Dutch company. And so they find out about it. They basically reverse Uno card Moritz. And so they have the person that Moritz tried to turn, tell them when the police were coming. They arrest 3 German they're oblivious, but the Dutch police arrest 3 German tourists that aren't actually the people running the drug operation, and then they go hunt down Lenny, Moritz, Daniel, Kira, and I think that's it. At they're having a celebration at their high school after passing their A levels, and so they're doing the high school, like most likely to be homeless, and Fritzy's pretty all over the place in the series, and she gets voted that. But the girl group of friends is doing more drugs and experimentation of drugs than the boy group of friends, which is Daniel, Lenny, and Moritz. But Martin, Burke, and Marlene go to the high school party to whack Lenny and the My Drugs team. And so they get there. At that time, Lisa tells Jans about knowing, and Lisa's now applying for a journalist degree, so she's been secretly recording Moritz again, and Moritz thought that maybe they would get back together again after kind of regretting it, breaking up with Lisa, but she's moved on with Joseph Ranger in the handcuffs. And so they're at the high school thing, and they've got basically Marlene and Burke have the My Drugs team tied up, and Jans hears from Lisa what's happening, rushes into school, and shoots both Marlene and Burke dead. And so he once again trying to cover up for Moritz, and they have Martin tied up. So the group of all the high school kids are just debating whether or not to kill Martin. They have a vote. Lisa and Ranger Joseph come back in, and that's when they get tied into being accomplices. So they go back and forth. They decide not to kill the dude, which I think again, unless I'm missing something, I think Moritz was just trying to get everyone to leave, so he just turn himself in and take responsibility for everything. So I think that's what he's really trying to do. Again, after they vote, he's like, I was never going to kill him, and then he just insults everybody. And so once he starts insulting everybody, it looks like the plot development was just trying to get everybody to leave so he can take responsibility for everything and not actually kill Martin. So he lets Martin go. Martin and the Albanians start working together. Moritz gets arrested. His dad can't stop him. In real life, he got sentenced to 7 years in jail. And at the very end of the actual TV show, he's in jail, on a Zoom call with all the friends again, and he's still selling drugs through Martin and the Albanians. So again, A-, thoroughly enjoyed it. Obviously missed probably some plot development, but I could go on, but it was minor stuff, but it's just a fun show. I thought it was upbeat. I thought the tonality matched with this type of production. So I thoroughly enjoyed it, A-. It's a major theme, selling drugs online. I thought it was pretty accurate. Again, I think the actual historical accounts, the dude I just read about said he didn't put enough postages on some of the things, which is sloppy as fuck. And he went to some of the same drop boxes, which is sloppy as fuck. But yeah, have an in-person supplier. Again, the way I did it was meet somebody. Again, I was in the cannabis industry, so again, cannabis is a super not, I don't want to say everybody, but super not tense in terms of drug dealing. In terms of there's gonna be a bunch of armed people around you. And so I was just in Colorado and through the industry meet people who've been lifetime growers. So the suppliers are a lot less tense, and it'd be people that, one or two, was 2 people total, but meet people outside of any sort of context of let's go sell weed, learn their farmers, kind of like trying to get an edge, see what they do, or like looking for, but not saying, hey, this is what I'm looking for. And then once you learn their lifetime growers and stuff, buy in person. Again, small amounts of cash, and I had one that would accept bitcoins that weren't laundered. And so laundering the bitcoins, as the show portrayed, is absolutely the hardest part. Absolutely, it's less, it's more traceable than cash. People say it's, right now on CNBC, bitcoins are bad because they're more traceable. It's absolutely not. Cash is way more discreet. But again, just the step of buying in person in bulk, breaking it down, quarter, halves, and wholes. Winky, winky. Yeah, I can do a couple pounds too. And then re-up with somebody who would just take raw bitcoins. Again, so it's accurate on the tumblers. A lot of the websites, one of the more sophisticated ones. Again, I told you I recently checked. I didn't see any really well functioning websites anymore. But in the show they go from again just dark web to clear net, which that would never have been a step I took. And again, I had my whole plan before I even started. You just sell a little bit, invest some bitcoins, and just hold them. And again, And again, once you start selling it, again, I think the numbers in here, and also throughout the show, they're trying to like raise money for Lenny, who needs like €1 million for this life-saving cancer treatment or something. And so the second round, when they do another round and they sell like $900,000 in like 2 days, you know, that's more reflective of the volume you can get on there, on just on a functioning darknet site as opposed to being on a clearnet site as well. So they go clearnet, that was never even a thought to me. They talk about local bitcoins, which is absolutely true. Money laundering being absolutely the hardest part of all of it. But it's fun. It was absolutely, again, so that's why I said, like, I like crime shows to be serious, but selling drugs online is fucking fun. It just is. And so, again, I was never had like an independent site. They have My Drugs, like an independent like exchange. Like I was just a seller on one of the exchanges. But buy bulk amounts of weed, break it down, sell it, have good just me. And then so it's like including other people in criminality is just it's always a liability. You just can't be doing that stuff. But print the postage stamps off the internet or buy those online and then change the drop boxes. And typically if you're receiving, always use your real name. If you have an address and you put someone else's fake name, that's an indication. Don't sign for anything. If someone you're not used to presenting packages to you or wants you to sign for something, take the loss and do not sign for it. Because when you sign for it, that's when you have consent, and that's when you legally forfeit your right to plausible deniability. If you sign for it, you said I expected this package. So typically that's how they'll do it. If you're selling online and they want to bust you, if you're buying online and they want to bust you, as they'll have someone sign for the package. So don't never do that. Take the loss and move on and just say, I don't know what this package is, it's not mine. And if you're selling, use an accurate business address of somewhere in the region of the post box you are mailing from. So even the character in real life and the character in the show both seemed a little sloppy. Again, like the motivation to turn a drug business into this big enterprise, dumbest fucking shit ever. Again, I had very clear goals going in. And again, never like getting out of the weed game when you have like 2 suppliers of people who are like lifetime weed potheads. It's not like a big getting out of the game scenario. So never even made the step to try to launder money. Again, not possible. Again, you need real revenue of legal money. And the amount I made, it wasn't, again, the 900,000, I probably made less than that. I probably revenue probably 800, 900,000, probably made 50 to 60%. So just a fun, again, better than Christmas morning. The first time you really have a transaction that works, you're just like, and you realize again. And then another big facet for me was again sell a quantity of something that should be legalized, knowing damn well these websites are honeypotted out of the fuck out of everything, and just human engineer. What Fed's gonna give a fuck about a little amount of weed? Nah, I'll take my chances on that. And again, because I couldn't go to school. Like I can't, to this minute, this day, I can't integrate into society any fucking way. I cannot access any social functions. So once you go to college and they're like instinctually forming a culture around denying science, you're like, well, what the fuck am I gonna do? So, A-, thoroughly enjoyed it. Definitely some major themes to discuss on this one. And besides that, it's not hard. It's not big. Like again, the guy coding a website, programming languages to me, again, I'm not a prolific coder in any fashion, but the computer is redundant logic to me, so it's like I just have no need to develop an application. It would be just redundant to me. Like the whole tech chase or build this big business. Again, the next big application is clicking on Brad's app for fundamental education every day. It's already done. It's literally already done. Market's there. It's going to happen for sure. But anything else with selling drugs online? At least considerations for me? Nah, not really. Yeah, it's not some big, complicated thing. And like they said, they depict in the show, the dark web is not some super secret place. It's just a Tor browser, some encryption keys. And I just read in the actual thing, he wasn't even encrypting his client list on like the actual dude. On the show he was, and they're doing all this, the encryption properly. But I showed you on my poker videos the online drug dealer starter kit, the Tor browser, it just scrambles nodes of your internet traffic. And the GPU encryption. And so past that, it's really just like buying anything else. So thoroughly enjoyed the show, highly recommend it, and Lena Klanko can sit it right here on the face. So thank you for watching, and see you on the next one.